Were there some turning points you felt like, this really taught me what it takes to build a product that customers trust to use?
In the industry, the tools are absolutely fragmented. Analytics tool on one platform, experimentation is somewhere else, personalization is another one. What the customers really want is not the blockbuster features, but a platform that enables their workflows to flow seamlessly through. I think AI will help us finally reach one-to-one real-time personalization. Even when it comes to empathy, AI can actually be a force multiplier there as well. The value of every human in the loop is improved because they are now strategic visionaries rather than doing manual work. As the tools have improved, and I think VWO has to be given a lot of credit here, the visual editor that came in, it really took experimentation into the non-technical areas as well. And I think as visual editor did this for testing or experimentation, I think AI is going to do that for behavioral analysis as well.
Welcome to a brand new episode of the VWO podcast. Recognized as a finalist in the CMA Awards 2025 for Best B2B Podcast. With hours of in-depth conversations, we talk about using CRO to deliver what your users want, while also driving long-term growth for your business. Before we speak to our guest, here's a very quick overview of what we do. VWO is a leading experience optimization platform that enables you to gather in-depth user insights and build winning experiences across your website and mobile app. VWO Copilot, our AI champion, handles the heavy lifting of suggesting test ideas, creating variations, and finding insights, so you can focus on making strategic decisions that drive growth. Now, without further delay, let's jump right back to this conversation.
Hey everyone, my name is Niti. I'm the editor in marketing at VWO, and I welcome you back to another episode of the VWO podcast. I am very excited for this episode because our guest today is someone from VWO, someone who has been an integral part of the VWO growth journey. So without further ado, let me introduce Kandeel Chauhan, Director of Product and Engineering at VWO. Kandeel has been leading the transformation of VWO Insights, which is one of our flagship products. He's passionate about building products that not only help businesses better understand user behavior, but also create a real impact on growth and revenue. Over the years, he has worked across various areas of product management, from shaping product roadmaps and studying user needs to making data-driven decisions that guide innovation. Kandeel has also, for a time period, led quality assurance at VWO, where he built strong processes, mentored the engineers, and helped shape how this function worked across teams. In today's episode, we will, of course, talk about Kandeel's own journey, but we'll also ask him what goes into building a product that customers absolutely love and how VWO Insights has evolved under his leadership. Kandeel, welcome to the VWO podcast. How are you doing today?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Niti. I'm very excited to be here. And thank you so much for that lovely introduction. I think I'll have to steal that for my LinkedIn bio as well.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Absolutely. What is the content team for? Yes.
Thanks.
So, Kandeel, tell me, can you tell me some quirky habit about yourself? Like, is there something that you do before a big day, before a big presentation, or do you have some ritual or any quirky habit of yours?
Before presentations, I will typically take a few deep breaths, and that's about it. So if you're prepared well in advance for any presentations, it's just about controlling how you breathe. So I'm big on like exercising, and so that is why I know the value of breathing fine. And yes, so that is my quirky habit that I always do before any presentation, even in town halls and camps when we have to present. You can always find me doing my deep breathing before we begin.
Awesome. That's fantastic. And is there something very exciting that you're working on currently that you can share with us, either on the personal level or professional?
Yeah, so on the personal side, I recently did the Hyrox competition. It's quite popular worldwide. So I managed a decent time of 1 hour, 31 minutes.
Wow.
So I'm planning to do that again next year. Hopefully I'll breach the 1 hour, 15 minutes. So by that time, I'll be 40. So maybe I can do well in my age category at least. Uh, on the professional front, I think the way that VW is shaping up, that is really exciting. Every day there are new challenges and new frontiers to explore, especially with the AI coming in and the way that we are now starting to enhance our quantitative analysis bit as well. So I can't disclose much at this point of time, but that will become a very strong tool of VWO as a platform entirely. So very excited to be working upon that.
Awesome, awesome. And that gets me to ask you that you've been part of VWO's journey, obviously, for years now. And you've gone from, you know, while this we started as a A/B testing platform, we are now an enterprise grade product, right? And so when you look back at this journey, do you think there were specific moments or specific decisions that really defined your growth as a product leader?
Mhm. As you rightly pointed out earlier, so when I was hired at VW, I was hired to lead the quality assurance team in the engineering team. So that really gave me a great platform because the role of a QA analyst is to be the advocate for its users. Find the friction points, find bugs that will prevent the users from getting to value.
Yeah.
So that acted as a great platform when I moved into a product role. Again, here I would really like to compliment the open culture that we have at VW. So when this opportunity really arose, so I just put my hand up and volunteered that I wanted to try this out, and I was given that opportunity and the relevant guidance as well, which gave me the platform or a launchpad rather. So going forward, so when I just took up this role, so we launched a massive research drive or campaign. So I still remember, like we thought that we should be big on tasting our own medicine. So we started looking at a lot of session recordings, doing quantitative data analysis through funnels and metric reports, moving forward into heat maps, launching a lot of surveys. So my first instinct was to talk to a lot of people. So we did dozens of interviews with not just users of VWO, but we also interviewed other agencies like our network. Given that VWO has a strong network, we were able to get those done through our sales teams, etc. And that gave us a real insight, right? So that that showed me like what is the motivations of our users, what does success look like for them, right? And what are the frustrations, what are the pain points of using tools like ours. So as I said, that these were users not just of VW, they were users of our competitors as well.
Right.
Right. So that really gave me a great starting point. And to give you an example, so something which seems very simple now, but when working from the engineering point of view, when we work on, let's say, a session recording tool, it is obviously a very powerful tool to have while doing behavioral analysis. But you think in terms of features, right? That, okay, my session recording supports rage clicks. It gives you an event stream. It can play for single page applications. That is how you think of it. But when you start discussing that with customers, you get to know that what a pain session recordings really are, because you cannot look at thousands of session recordings. Or even if you find bits and fragments of some interesting insight, you don't know if this is the only visitor who's faced this issue, or is this something that others have also faced and worth tackling. So when you come to the product point of view, then you look at these pain points and then you look at your products. Then you think of things like, can my customers directly shortlist the session recordings that they have to see to only the people who dropped off at a funnel step? Or if they've discovered that there's somebody who is doing dead clicks on a certain banner on their hero section, mistaking it for a clickable CTA, are there others? So that you can quickly come back and segment the session recordings or filter them based on people who dead clicked on a certain element on a certain page within a certain date. So that really narrows it down. So that is how the perspective really changed. So I think like my growth as a product manager or leader is basically, I could like there'll be several things, right? That I could say retention, looking at data, looking at competition, industry landscape. But the one thing that typically stands out is to be able to look through the prism of empathy. And interestingly, that is the product that we are building, right? So VWO Insights itself it also allows you to our customers to look at their customers from by stepping into their shoes. So that was a great match. And I think coming from the QA background and then evolving into this, it was a great opportunity for me. Very challenging, but rewarding nonetheless.
Absolutely, absolutely. And what you mentioned, I think, has been such an amazing breakthrough. Uh, I feel so. That's absolutely fantastic. You've spearheaded the growth of VWO Insights. Just for our listeners, VWO Insights is the behavioral analytics module within the VWO platform. So, were there some defining turning points? I know you mentioned like session recordings is one example that you've already given us, but any other turning points, whether technical or strategic, that taught you um, you felt like, this really taught me what it takes to build a product that customers trust to use. They trust this product, they love this product.
Mhm. And so I'll leave the technical part out. I'll what comes to mind is a strategic aspect.
Hmm.
So I think from a strategic shift, I would say like going for a product manager, it is very tempting to go after blockbuster features, right? And miss the bigger picture while doing so. So if I were to give an example, so in heat maps, which is one of the tools that we work on in Insights, in the past year or so, year and a half, we've built multiple wow features. Right, so we've got friction maps, we've got zonal analysis, we've side by side comparisons. We've built a host of them, but what you realize is that none of them standalone can create those aha moments for customers. So what the customers really want is not the blockbuster features, but a platform or a system that enables their workflows to flow seamlessly through, right? So that they can get the value. So that was a big strategic shift. Although I think this got a little too abstract, so I'll just try to zoom out a little bit. And this is where I typically start all my discussions, and I think I'll bring this up again and again. So I'll try to paint the picture of a overly simplistic life cycle of a CRO life cycle, right? So if we could imagine it in three nodes. So the first node is monitor. So when any team starts their CRO life cycle, they start by monitoring. By monitoring, I mean they'll monitor what is the trend of their revenue. Is it going up? Is there a sudden dip? Then if they want to enhance it, they go deeper into funnels. So they monitor their funnels. So maybe they have a checkout funnel, which goes landing page, product page, add to cart, checkout. Then they say, where are the tips or the maximum drop-offs? To keep monitoring this. So this is the monitor part. This is the first node. Then comes the analyze part. So analysis comes to where, let's say there is a 30% drop-off at a certain step in the funnel. What is the segment that is dropping off the most? Why are they dropping off? So then you jump into behavioral analysis. You look at heat maps, you look at session recordings, try to identify friction points. Then you create a hypothesis. So the hypothesis could be as simple as that, hey, these guys are struggling to find the CTA that they should find. And let's just change the color to red. So again, taking an overly simplistic example here. So based on this, then you come to the next node, which is optimization. So now you run experiments. If you find something interesting, you deploy it. If you think that only one segment is working, for one segment, this variation is working perfectly, you launch a personalization. But this is not the end. So the CRO life cycle keeps on going. So even when you do this, then you again monitor the test participants. Then you again analyze, then you again optimize, and you keep going through it. That is how you compound. So what we found out, and coming back to my fragmented feature set problem that I have highlighted. So what happens is in the industry, the tools are absolutely fragmented. A customer would be using an analytics tool on one platform, a session recording tool on another. Their experimentation is somewhere else. Personalization is another one. There is some marketing automation happening downstream. So this leads to a lot of friction. A, they have to train their teams on multiple platforms. B, they're always dependent on development teams because there are API glues that are needed. Data inconsistency is a big problem. So the strategic shift for us was to, can we as VWO evolve into a platform that we've evolved into over the past few years, where we can provide this end-to-end CRO lifecycle on one platform itself. And that is what reflects in all our strategies now. So if you see, look at VWO, from monitor, you can monitor your funnel drop-offs. Immediately from the drop-offs, you can see segment filtered session recordings of people who dropped off. You can compare drop-offs versus conversions in heat maps, all seamlessly connected. If you see, even within Insights, if you see a cluster of clicks on a specific area in a heat map, you can quickly create a area over it and see the session recordings for people who clicked there. Right. And then, of course, getting into tests and being able to see session recordings for people who became a part of that test, who were served a particular variation. Same with personalized. So that entire, like, it's a closed loop system that we try to create everywhere. So that was a big strategic shift, and that has really given us a lot of results in terms of our customers being happy, being able to get a lot of ROI, and of course, great for our numbers as well.
Wow, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you for explaining. And you touched upon this slightly, Kandeel, but I want to get into a little bit of a detail. Conversion research, see, I don't think there's any debate around that. I think everybody agrees that user behavior analysis is an absolute must. But we get this question a lot, that we understand that it needs to be done. If we specifically take just A/B testing, that people understand it needs to be done before the test, like, right, so that it feeds into your hypothesis. But what is the use of this process and of a module like VWO analysis, VWO Insights after the test? How can it be used after? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is a right, that you make a right point.
Yeah.
But I would take it a step further and say that not just before and after, but it gives you a lot of value even during your test. While your test is running, you can still leverage session recordings to get early feedback. So I'll just try to elaborate a little bit on what happens while the test is running. So let's say that I've just launched my test and visitors have started to be served with certain variations. So immediately you can start looking at session recordings of people and see if they are interacting with your web page the way that you had hypothesized. So maybe you thought that after making such and such change, the flow of the user will change. But is it really happening? So you get that early feedback, right? Even we've seen our users, our customers, identify conversion blocking issues on those session recordings as soon as, like, a CTA not working. So their test would fail for the wrong reason if it weren't for session recordings and them finding out at an early stage. They would lose time and they would lose conversions. As a result, they would lose on revenue as well. So it would be a very expensive test. Right. Even other scenarios such as your guardrails being triggered, your test running for a significantly long time and getting very low conversions. All of these can be investigated during the while the test is running. Of course, this is no substitute for a statistically significant test result. You'll always have to wait for that. This is something that can complement it. It is never meant to be as a replacement for it. Right. And once your test ends, so we always have this, we always talk about this. Sometimes a failed test can be of more value than a small win. Because once you dive into knowing why, there is a treasure trove of insights to be found. So just like immediately after ending a test, or even during it, you can see, compare the control and the variation or multiple variations side by side. You can synchronously scroll them down and see how attention has shifted. Right. Even in session recordings, you would do that. So in VWO specifically, we've built session recordings in a way that you can see all the sessions of a user after the point he became a test participant. You can see how many sessions he took to convert the metric, or did he not. You can compare them. There's AI Copilot there to assist you with summarizing it in context of the test. So that gives you a lot of value. So an analogy that comes to mind here is that you are like, when you're a CRO professional running a test, you are like a coach of a team. right? And if you're only looking at the result, it's like looking at the scorecard at the end of the game and saying that, oh, my team lost, but you don't know why they lost. So in the next game, you don't know what to tell them or how to make them improve. So whether you win or you lose, knowing the what has gone wrong, or what could be done better, how could you win bigger, all of those definitely require a behavioral analysis.
Wow, awesome. That was a big light bulb for me, this analogy with the coach. Thank you. My next question is, have you ever tried to understand what customers think of behavioral analysis? We are part of the industry and we use this concept and this term day in and day out, and we have our own understanding of it. But how do customers define it? Like, what do they associate it with? And do you believe that today in the industry, people have a certain mature understanding of this?
Actually, interesting that you asked this because we've actually researched this quite a bit in the past. So what we realized is that the understanding or adoption of behavioral analysis as a whole, it is not a point. It is an entire spectrum. So there are people at the top of the spectrum, there are people at the bottom of it as well. So to put it into a framework, there is awareness spectrum or awareness levels. I keep getting this wrong. It is by Eugene Schwartz. So it breaks down your customer base or your prospective customer base into bands of awareness. So there is the unaware state, there is the problem aware state, and then there is the solution aware followed by the most aware or all aware state, right? So I'll try to put this question, I'll try to answer it through this framework. So the awareness of behavioral analysis is directly correlated to the CRO maturity of that organization, right? So if you are just starting out, I am a absolute beginner, new digital business. I have just brought together a website and put it live, and now I want to start improving it. I am currently unaware that I need anything such as behavioral analysis or session recording. Let's take an example, because at this point of time, my website is in such a poor state that even a normal UX audit will give me a lot of results. There are still a lot of low hanging fruits to be plucked. So these teams will typically hire a UX agency and they will tell them that, oh, okay, your page structure is not right. You move your reviews up. There should be a sticky add to cart button, things like those. And they keep doing it and they see the numbers growing. So they are currently unaware. They think that their intuition is working perfectly fine and things are all great. But that trap is just very close and they slip into the problem aware state now. So from the unaware phase of the spectrum, they've now slipped into the problem aware. How this typically happens is they start to get counterintuitive results from their optimizations or experiments. So for instance, let's say that they thought that, oh, to increase the checkouts, let's introduce a discount coupon field. So they introduce a discount coupon field and they discover that the checkouts actually went down. So now they don't know what to do, right? And now they are problem aware. Now the only way to get out of this is to become solution aware. So if there was a solution aware guy would know that, okay, this is a problem. There is a solution in the market, which is session recordings. I should go and get that. And they typically, once they are all aware or product aware as well. So how they will typically approach this is that they will run an experiment with the new coupon code. When they look at session recordings, they will find an insight. Maybe they find that people see the coupon code, they don't have a relevant coupon code, they'll see a lot of tab outs happening. People are leaving the page, going to other coupon sites, looking for coupons that they could do. That is causing the friction and then they just frizzle out, right? So this is an insight that was waiting for them to happen. So in the long run, the CRO success is significantly higher for people who are on the bottom end of the spectrum, who are like all aware or solution aware at least. But for the unaware also, because they're just starting out, it might not impact them for a while, but they will also get to it. And at VWO also, we typically have this as a core mission. You could say that we want to help people transition from that states, right? Because like we do through content, we do some education. We've got in-app educations for our customers. And then, of course, our plans are tiered in such a way that the unaware and problem aware can also get certain benefits. Like our AI co-pilots can act as a UX auditor, give you certain low-hanging fruits. Then you graduate to the next level on the spectrum. You get session recordings attached into your test and personalization reports. So there is something for everyone, and it is a tool that basically scales with you. So as and when we promote this, so that is a win-win for everyone, right? Our customers get a bump up in their revenues or leads. Their visitors, they get a seamless experience which they enjoy. We are able to expand the market for the industry as well. So that is why we had researched it in depth, and this is what we found. And we've seen like customers really evolve gradually, right? Even smaller companies now have very mature CRO life cycles, which is very interesting to see.
Yeah, wow. And I can imagine how much pride you must be feeling for the work that is done, because we are not just offering solutions which, some people may or may not be used, but we are actually helping them reach there and move forward in the spectrum, like you said, and we are actively participating so that they succeed. That's
Right.
just so great to hear.
Right. I think that comes from the DNA of the company as well. I think that was the vision set by the leadership and
Yeah.
the team on a whole. I've been really blessed to be working with a great engineering team, great CSMs, great sales team. So that makes my job very easy.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And again, like just coming back to a very basic question that's also, I think, asked many times. So, when we talk of user behavioral analysis, we usually compartmentalize into the what and the why. So, what is happening on the website or on the app and why it is happening. And how do you think businesses can connect with this why mindset and how important it is, so that it's just not seen simply as a process or a feature, but like a mindset that drives better understanding of the users and ultimately leads to better experimentation?
Right. Right. I think the mindset is the key word in that question, and I think I'll try to tackle this and uh, by specifying what kind of mindset has been adopted by teams who do really well at behavioral analysis. Right. So the first thing is that you have to detach from looking at behavioral analysis tools as just another report. Maybe you can call it a empathy engine, right? So this is where you start to draw empathy with your visitor base or your user base, right? So rather than just putting a number to it and asking a question that, hey, why is my bounce rate so high? You must make that cultural shift and start asking, why is my user so frustrated? So it is a simple switch of mindset, and that is a change that is needed when you're looking at behavioral analysis. So I'll just quote a few customers. So there are certain processes that they have designed. One of them which comes to mind is that they made this like a team activity. So every week, every 2 weeks, they would order pizza and they would sit and watch session recordings after a release. So the entire team, the developers, the X guys, all of them would be there. And what they pointed out that it was great in terms of breaking personal biases. So something like a design can be very subjective. So I am the designer. I hold a very strong bias towards it that this is the best. But when you see users struggling with that design, there is no need of convincing anyone. They have seen how users are using it and they can see the problems. So that was one thing. So again, empathizing with the user, not just looking at the numbers, right? Another one that came to mind was that in the email reports, they would not just say, oh, okay, for 35% drop off in the funnel, they would also attach a session recording where a person is rage clicking on the checkout button. So then this becomes an undeniable and very tangible fact, right? This is no longer a hypothesis in the air, right? The only thing that you need to see is to quantify it, that how many other users have also faced this. But that is the mental shift that is required, or a mindset change that is required to be great at behavioral analysis.
Right. Yes. 100%. Like, it makes a lot of sense, especially how you call it an empathy engine. I think that's just so cool. Um, do you have any advice for product or marketing teams who now want to start integrating behavioral
Mm,
insights into their CRO process, but
mm,
perhaps don't know where to start?
mm. Yes, yes. So my advice to anybody who's starting out with this is go top down rather than bottom up. I'll just explain this. What we've observed is new teams who've just starting out, they get overwhelmed by the breadth of data that they have, right? So they need to remember that they don't have to analyze the entire website. They have to analyze a problem, right? So they need to start with a goal. So what is your most expensive goal at the moment? That is what you have to think. So my top line is struggling. Where is the biggest drop off happens after at my cart page before my checkout page. That is the problem that I need to solve. I don't need to jump into heat maps and look at every page. I don't need to jump into session recordings and see thousands of session recordings. I start with the funnel. I have a goal in mind. Then I go deeper. I look at heat maps specifically for that page. I ask this question to myself: what are my users seeing? That is answered by the heat maps. What are users converting versus users who are not converting seeing different? So you compare those two and you'll immediately see what is the difference in engagement. The same question: what are they experiencing? Now you ask that and the answer is in the session recordings. Now you look at 10 session recordings of people who've just dropped off. You look at 10 who've not dropped off. You do a comparison. Even after this, even if after this you do not have any clue or you're still on the fence, then you simply go and ask your visitors. You run a survey, right? Hear it from the horse's mouth. So you have to just find your first why. So that is what you're after when you are just starting out. You don't need to analyze the entire website. You just identify a problem. That is what I mean by top down. You have a problem, then you go down. So if you take a bottom up approach, which is you're looking at session recordings, you're looking at heat maps of various pages, you'll get fragmented insights here and there. But you won't be able to tie them up into a bigger picture, quantify them, or justify your hypotheses into why you want to solve them. So my only advice to people who are starting out is that go top down. Start with a goal and then dive deeper.
Hmm. That's great advice. Um, and there's so much talk about AI also now, right? You have
Hmm.
seen how AI is transforming experimentation and analytics both. Do you predict any specific breakthroughs or something that's likely to change in the way teams will use AI for behavioral insights or even for conversion optimization, like in the next couple of years?
Yes, actually, I am very bullish personally, and I think I resonate with what we think as an organization as well on
Yeah.
how AI is going to shape this industry. I think it is going to revolutionize it entirely. What we've already launched is just scratching the surface. So let me just paint a picture of what it could be in the future, and then I'll try to trace back my steps. So I think AI will help us finally reach a state where there is real one-to-one, real-time personalization happening. So what I mean by that is that let's say that I have a visitor, right? On my e-commerce website, I sell uh, clothes, right? So the AI is constantly monitoring, right? It has got access to behavior, it has got access to analytics, it has got access to all the tools that are currently on the system. So it observes that there is a visitor who comes in and the visitor looks at red dresses, checks out 3 red dresses, right? So now my AI realizes that this is not somebody who's just casually browsing. She is probably someone who's shopping for a specific event. It's given by the choice of the browsing. So it will personalize an experience for them. When they land on the homepage, they will see a banner which is specifically for them, a one-to-one real-time personalization saying that check out our party dresses or something, right? And maybe a discount coupon with that. So that nudges them forward. So that can be the power of real-time personalization. So that is the direction in which we'll be going eventually, right? But we are still just scratching the surface, and we have somewhat of a phased plan to get there. currently where we stand, we've got co-pilots which are more like they are reactive assistants, right? You call upon them, you tell them that, hey, summarize this heat map, summarize this set of recordings. These are my survey answers. Give me the key actionables from it, right? But they are going to transition gradually into proactive creators. They will have access to running personalization campaigns. So that is the direction in which we'll be going, right? So the the reason why we started off on this AI journey was like it comes from two basic missions that we had. The first one was decrease the time to value of a customer, right? The time and effort that goes into behavioral analysis is massive. So you will have to like look at a lot of recordings. You need a separate team maybe, but our assistants, AI co-pilots, drastically bring that time down. So the data currently shows that our customers have used only, if you only talk about session recording copilot, they have already saved thousands of hours, right? So that is a big impact. So that is the current capability. It is a reactive assistant which only has expertise of a certain area. So there is an assistant for session recordings. The next phase that we go will be agents. So these agents will be specific, like experts at specific tasks. So there will be a data analyst agent, which is which is an expert at monitoring trends, identifying anomalies. There will be another, which is an expert UX agent, which can look at heat map and tell you UX inputs. And then there will be workflow builders, which people will be able to generate themselves. They will be able to attach these two together. That, okay, whatever findings you have, Mr. Analyst, you pass that on to the heat map. So now the heat map knows what is the problem area with context to the data. Where are the drop-offs? And the heat map agent will only focus on those pages. So a string of micro agents together will form a super agent, which will be able to generate this. The next enhancement in this would be where it has got access to all the capabilities of creation in the platform. While we still have in early stages a one-click experimentation setup, all this is going to really become super intelligent in the future until we come to that one-to-one real-time personalization. So that is the direction in which we are moving currently.
Sounds really awesome. Where how we are going ahead, and also how fast we are going ahead. I think sometimes the speed is also like it's just gets too much to
Amazing.
take.
It is. Yes. Very exciting times, I must say.
Yeah, super exciting. But I think I also wanted to talk about the opposite of this exactly. Like how Kandil you touched upon empathy a couple of times in our talk today, and some of our previous guests on the podcast have also spoken about empathy, about intuition, and how, as CRO practitioners, it's important for us, of course, to upskill, to use AI, to do a lot of research, and to stay on top of market trends, to come up with processes and tools and all of this. But it's also important for us to hone our intuition more and more.
Right.
So my question is like, do you agree with this? And if you do, then do you think that there are some parts of user behavioral analysis that AI cannot take over, and the AI can just not touch, and hence these cannot be automated, where judgment, empathy, human interference will make all the difference.
Correct. Correct. So I think I made it sound like the humans are going to go out of the loop in the previous answer, but we still believe that the human in the loop is very much relevant, even in the future, even when it gets to that stage which I tried to paint a picture of. So human in the loop will always remain, right? So okay, I'll try to tackle the behavioral analysis aspect first. So when we do behavioral analysis of a visitor on a page, it is like trying to study its digital body language, right? We do it through signals, right? So again, drawing on an analogy, let's say that a person walks into my physical store. If he's angry or in rage, it is very hard to miss for a store manager, right? He'll know immediately that this guy is completely in rage. So how do we do that for our website visitors? Right. So we do it through behavioral signals. Let's say rage click is a simple explanation of that. There could be many page refreshes, cursor thrashers, all of those kind of signals. So CRO experts will typically learn to read those signals as digital body language and form their hypotheses accordingly. So even AI now, as it can interpret language also. So it can be trained to now be an expert on reading the digital body language as well. Right. So we are already about to release a feature where your survey open text fields responses can be segregated on themes and the sentiment as well. Right. So the similarly, this can be done, but the human will always be needed to approve it, at least in the beginning. Right. So the AI will never have a few things. Right. It does not have the context of the goal on its own. Right. So the human will be needed, that what is my like about its brand awareness or its business goals, or maybe his specific vertical, what is it looking at, right? So those things from the individual has to come. Then there will be guardrails to set. So you don't want the AI to just to increase the number of conversions giving a 99% discount to a person, right, to nudge. So the AI, the guardrails is also there, and then approvals. So at least in the short term, there will be a lot of hypotheses that the AI will generate, and the systems will enable the user to manually verify if the user is doing that right or not. Of course, even when it comes to empathy, AI can actually be a force multiplier there as well. So one thing comes to mind is that we as humans, again, we are prone to personal biases. Right. So we've had customers who tell us that when they did a co-pilot analysis of the heat map, there were some like very obvious insights to be seen, but they just couldn't see it because they had some bias, or they were looking at it from a certain perspective. But the AI doesn't have any bias. It is totally objective. So it helped him. So the human is not going out of the loop. It is going to be a force multiplier. So if a CRO agency today is running with 10 people, maybe their productivity can go up 50 times or 100 times even, because their manual work is gone, right? The value of each person working now, every human in the loop, the value is improved because they are now strategic visionaries rather than doing manual work. So that is how I see the evolution of humans in the loop. But AI is definitely going to revolutionize this. It is going to be really powerful. And I think we at VWO are also like a lot of research, a lot of POCs are currently, and we're very excited for the future.
Great. That's great. And thank you for explaining so practically how, this is likely to go out, and how the mindset should really be that AI can be seen as an ally and a force multiplier, like you
Correct.
said, right? Instead of a threat. And
Yes,
it's an opportunity for humans to take a more strategic role. I just love the way how you
that's right.
put that.
So us versus them, I think, is the wrong way of looking at it.
Yeah.
It is a tool that will definitely help us uh, improve productivity, design better experiences for our visitors.
Hmm. Okay. And then, Kandil, like if you see how teams use VWO today, now this is a very VWO specific question that I'm bringing here, but like how teams use VWO today versus how they used to use 5, 6, 7 years ago, is there one most rewarding change that you have observed based on, how people think about experimentation and learning today?
Yeah. Uh, yes, I think more than VWO, it's overall in a larger picture as well. So I would say the previous 5 years or 10 years, maybe even. So in that period, there is a huge transition around the democratization of experimentation. So earlier it was a very tech focused, I mean, happened a siloed task happening in certain areas. A good to have rather than a must have is how I would put it, right? But gradually as the tools have improved, and I think VW has to be given a lot of credit here. VW is the pioneer with the visual editor that came in, and it really took experimentation into the non-technical areas as well, with like marketeers, product managers, all of them having the capability to run experiments without the interference or dependency on a development team. So that was one. And the second one is the even coming to smaller businesses. I think I touched upon that earlier as well, that even smaller businesses have a very mature CRO optimization process running. So even like four people teams are very serious on how they look at it. They are using the entire life cycle. They are monitoring it. They set alerts. They're looking at behavioral. They are continuously churning, right? They are failing, but they again learn, and that is how compounding works, right? And you can clearly see that how what competitive advantage this culture of experimentation is bringing to them. And I think as visual editor did this for testing or experimentation, I think AI is going to do that for behavioral analysis as well, because the biggest constraint was of time. Smaller teams can also have these co-pilots, point them in the right direction, have the human focus only in areas which does have, like, you don't need to find the needle in the haystack anymore, right? So that is going to democratize this further. And gradually, I think more and more digital businesses will gravitate towards this entire process. They will continue to ask for a unified platform where you've got everything in one place. So I think that is something that across the industry there is a trend. You can see all legacy players trying to build out other capabilities now, and it's going to be a very interesting time ahead. I think the industry is going to grow. The people are going to get better experiences, the end users, and our customers are definitely going to get better business.
Hmm. Fantastic. Any final thoughts or message that you'd like to share with our audience before we conclude today's episode?
Okay, this really went by fast. I just looked up at the time now. I thoroughly enjoyed this, sharing my thoughts. Maybe we'll get a lot of comments. We'll get to engage with a few of the people. It's great to put our thoughts out there, for the world to see, discuss. So yes, if there are anything that any of our current customers, anybody else who face these kind of problems, want a solution, have a great idea, we are all ears. Even if you are not a subscriber of VWO, we'd still like to get a lot of inputs, and let's see how we can build this together.
Superb. Fantastic. Before I let you go, I would like to play a quick rapid fire round with you. Just about 9, 10 questions, and you need to try and answer them as rapidly and with as much
Sure.
fire as you can.
Sure.
Okay.
Putting me on the spot. Okay, that this might not be my strongest forte.
Okay, Kandeel. So, if you were starting a career in CRO today, what is the one thing that you would do differently?
I would rely on a tool that gives me the scope to scale, and I would definitely leverage as much AI as I could.
Awesome. Is there one thing that your non industry friends still don't understand about the work you do?
I think the ones in digital business, they understand. The ones not in digital businesses, they've got no clue. I've given up explaining what I do to them.
Right. One person that you feel every CRO professional or every product leader must absolutely follow on social media.
There are many, actually. There are a few of my friends also that I follow. So I'll give a shout out to one of them. Ishan was used to work previously, but he's now started his own consulting, I think. So you must follow that. We can leave his handle
Yeah,
in the comments.
that's Ishan Goel, right?
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Ishan is fantastic. He used to work as a data
Yeah.
scientist with us, and he's doing amazing work. Awesome. 3 books that you would recommend to our listeners, and even if unrelated to CRO is fine.
Yeah. So I had a very love-hate relationship with books, but it was in VW itself that I started together. So I think Atomic Habits, one of the books, the first books that I probably read, and that really helped me out. And This is Marketing is by Seth, is what I'm reading right now. So I think that is giving me a good insight. So these are the 2 books.
Awesome. Yeah, awesome. For our listeners, just a little tidbit. We have a very awesome book club here at VWO, and we read fantastic books together. Next
All the books
question.
that I have read have been through the book clubs.
Yeah. Yeah, what a great habit to be formed. Do you
Yes.
have a go-to travel destination, Kandil?
My go-to travel destination is actually my native hometown or village. So that is in Himachal. So I go there multiple times a year. But apart from that, I love the beach. I mean, we as a family love the beach. So each year we definitely go once to any beach destination. Right
Hmm,
now, Thailand is our favorite destination.
awesome. Great. Uh, if you had not been into CRO, what other profession do you think you would have chosen?
I think I would have grown apples.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's the retirement plan for me. So yes, that is what I would be doing.
That's great. Thank you for being honest. And last question, is there a dream or a goal at the personal level or on the professional front that you want to achieve in the next 3 to 5 years?
Actually, I'm not looking at a lot of things in the long term. I'm just trying to take it day by day, living in the present. So I've got a 6-year-old boy who keeps me honest. No time to think about anything else. And of course, from the professional front, also in the present point, there is so much challenging work to do. It is an exciting time to be working in this industry in tech. So I would like to just continue adding value to our customers and keep on learning and breaking boundaries. Yeah, that's it.
Superb. Thank you. That brings us to the end of today's
Done.
conversation. Thank you
This
so
rapid
much,
fire
Kandil.
was really hard.
Oh, but I think you did really well. Like, I'm no
Yeah, I
Kjo, but
just
I think you did great.
I just answered what first came to mind.
Yeah, yeah. No, thank you so much for joining us today, Kandil, and sharing your journey, sharing your thoughts. It's just been so fantastic hearing how VW Insights was shaped and, how we are going today and what are the plans for the future. It's just so enlightening. I work at VWO, but, sometimes you still kind of you don't get time to sit and chat like this and
Correct.
really understand what's going on. So personally also I think this has been very enriching for me, and I hope our listeners got value in the conversation today. If you like this episode, please don't forget to follow or subscribe to the VWO podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. We have lots of interesting conversations lined up, so until next time, keep experimenting, keep learning, and we'll see you in the next episode. Thank you. Have a great day.